everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is D-Free, and here today we're going to be showcasing all three of the Trio to Dangers on Team. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Hit that subscribe, of course, if you are new to the channel for more content, as well as a notification so you don't miss anything we upload here on the channel. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, an awesome morning, and if you're not, I hope that today gets better for you guys. So here's how things are going. So like I said, we're going to showcase these guys. I want to kind of start off by, since I didn't break the units down, I want to start off by kind of going over that a little bit in the video, kind of explaining some things you guys need to look forward to in the video. But we're also going to start off by actually unlocking the missions. So I talked about how I think that this is really cool. Obviously, not everybody can do it. Obviously, not everybody's going to be able to do it all the time. But for the opportunity to max out a unit, right, I think that's really good in general. So you see what we're going to pick up here. Also, it's cool that they're retroactive, so I don't have to like clear these afterwards again. But I'm happy I was able to get this done, and yeah. So you guys probably noticed we didn't do a summon video this time around. Why? Because I woke up and I was like, people aren't really going to watch Trio to Danger summon video, so whatever, man. So you guys saw where my units were starting out. I actually used 100 Z-Power on Bergamo to get him from 4-star to 5-star. I believe that's what happened. Anyways, but otherwise, all that was pretty much organic pulls for them. I used about 9k Chrono Crystals to be able to get the units overall. So that's how long it took. Thankfully, it could have took longer because there's 3 freaking units, man. When there's 3 units, it's really hard to get all of them, obviously. So that being said, I'm super excited. So we are going to unlock all these guys and kind of go from there. So you guys kind of saw the title, and the title was, is this a big skip? So the units are, they're not particularly the best units. They're not units that you need to really particularly go for in terms of their kit and what they do, how they function, right? The thing about these characters, though, is I'm going to do a video on this, like a separate video, so stay tuned to that. But I think that we're in an interesting time right now for Legends. We're at the end of the year, and with all these games at the end of the year, it doesn't matter if it's Legends or not, but all these games, they try to bring out the hype for the end of the year, right? So that being said, these characters bringing in more Universe Survival Saga buffs, the EX Kakunsa that came out as well on the banner, obviously, but last banner we had EX Ribrianne as well, I believe, and those units introducing like the Rival Universe tag, which I meant to cover, I didn't cover because I took a little break on YouTube, as you guys see. It's possible that you may want to have these units for what could potentially be coming in the future, right? So just keep that in mind overall when it comes to this, right? Because we've seen this before where they introduce tags like Future, they introduce like GT, and then they kind of slowly ease us in, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you don't have these older bench units or whatever. Maybe you need that. Now, otherwise, though, the cast of characters is cool. We have Strike, Attack, and Defense, HP, and then Blast, Attack, and Defense on Lavender. I'm going to go ahead and actually give him the what's his name? Basil here in the middle. Anyways, I'm going to give him some Z-Power, get him to Strike, Attack, and Defense. Also, Bergamo's the only red HP buffer in case you wanted to run Mono. Speaking of Mono, it's cool that they gave these dudes the Mono typing Z abilities as well, so that's really cool too. So that being said, we're just going to kind of move on and kind of explain what these characters do in just a moment here and get going. Okay, here we go. So he's about to unlock the 6th star, and I'm excited about that. Like I said, they are characters you may want to own, but I don't think they're necessarily characters in and of themselves that you need to pull for if you want to run the team, right? Also, do consider that if you want to pull these characters, you almost need to have all 3 of them, kind of similar to like the Super Warrior EXs or similar to other like trios that have come out like that, like the Family Kamehameha units a couple years ago, like that type of deal, right? Let's start off with Bergamo. So Bergamo as an ultimate, he is, in my opinion, the best one. So here's how Bergamo looks. Plus 20% of damage received. That's cool. Green card here. He has a barrier effect. Nullifies enemies' attacks, excluding certain moves like the Rising Rush. Also, if they're in close range, they get knocked back. He gets a damage buff, cancels the enemy's buffs as well, and he can combo into anything. This is a really good barrier, one of the better ones in the game overall. Love to see it, and I'm excited to test it out. I have not tested these units in any capacity yet. So his ultimate does damage based on the number of allies you have. If you have 3, he does 70, and then 50, and then 30 otherwise. The main ability here draws the ultimate, cancels his downgrades, and gives him key. Pretty generic, I'd say, but it's pretty good. It's good enough, right? So here's how the Z ability looks. Again, HP is going to be one of the most important stats. It is the most important stat, in my opinion, in the game. So you're going to want to at least get Bergamo if you're looking for. Obviously, like I don't know if UI Goku, for example, is coming out at the end of the year. Like it could be a thing. You don't know. We don't know. It could be a thing. If that is a thing, you probably want to have this unless you're going to obviously run like Saiyans or whatever. Who knows, right? But just keep that in mind. Anyway, so reduces damage received by 30% when battle starts. Cannot be canceled. That's pretty good for a defense type unit. Applies the following effects itself according to the number of counts elapsed from the battle start. After 15 counts, he gets 30% strike damage buff and also -5 to his strike cost and can't be canceled. After 20 counts, he gets a 30% blast damage buff and increases card draw speed as well. And then after that, after 30 counts, he gets health restoration by 30% and plus 50% of general damage. So they continue this theme of defense type units not really having a preference. They generally build defense types so they can function with blasts or strikes or whatever, right? So the cool thing with him is he's got all these non-cancelable buffs. That's the best thing here. Non-cancellation is incredible, so keep that in mind. Applies the funneling effect itself every time he's hit with a strike, blast, or blue card while he's out there. So plus 20% of damage inflicted up to 60, can't be canceled. 20% key recovery up to 100, can't be canceled. All of a sudden you have damage. You have a bunch of damage basically all over the place. You have draw speed and key recovery as well, and also an ultimate and damage cuts. And he has a health restoration. I wish he had more leverage on that health restoration. It's going to automatically do it after 30 counts. Similar to like Purple Bojack, but pretty good overall. And then on top of that, restores 20% of damage received after the enemy's attack is over, and he also reduces 30% of damage when changing cover. Also, he has a cover cut of 30%, but he doesn't have a penalty of card sub count up, so keep that in mind too. Overall, pretty good, man. So here we go with Basil. So he is the second best one in my opinion, but I think he could be the most interesting one because he's got the most, the most generic type of playstyle. And he also has, and that's not a bad thing by any stretch, but he also has like this Vanish Gauge recovery stuff going on. So his blue card, it's a dash forward blue card, Vanish Gauge restoration by 60%. Can't be taught, unfortunately. That would be incredible on Shallot. So that's just kind of unfortunate. Anyways, green card restores key, gives damage, and then also gives him card cost down, can't be canceled or stacked, but for 40 counts. That's still really good, man. Like, that's crazy. If that was a combo starting green, that would also be just a little bit better, but you can still use a mid combo because it restores key, but pretty good. So here's where he gets interesting. So he draws a green card here. We just talked about the green card, how good it is. He draws one. He gets a strike damage buff. He restores his own Vanish Gauge by 100%. This is actually very reminiscent of somebody like Kakunsa, the Sparking one, actually. That being said, you need 5 counts to use it, so you can use it very early in the battle. So strike, attack, and defense there, like I pointed out. Applies the following effects itself when the battle starts, plus 60% to key recovery and draw speed as well. So he's got that generic sidestep, strike melee type of playstyle here, which is, like I said, generally ages really well in the game. Applies the following effects itself when this character enters the battlefield. He gets 50% damage, can't be stacked, but it can be canceled. And he also has some damage cut because all offense units without any damage cuts, they just get shredded. And he's still going to get shredded in most cases because that's just not enough with how powerful offensive units are today, but still pretty good. The following effects occur when this character evades an enemy's attack with a Vanishing Step, restores own key by 40, and plus 30% of damage inflicted for 15 counts, inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade, plus 15% to damage received for 20 counts, and seals enemy special moves and special arts. The sealed arts cannot be used for 5 counts. So overall, pretty good. He's going to be sidestepping, doing a ton of damage. It's generally how it's going to play for him. So I was looking forward to Lavender here, but his playstyle is kind of weird to me. It all revolves around a green card and the poison, basically, which is cool. It's anime-centric, right? It makes sense. But I don't love it, right? So here's how he looks. So plus 15% to blast damage received debuff for 15 counts, 100% chance to inflict strong poison on hit. It looks like it's a dash forward one, so there's actually it's a long range. I think I called one earlier a dash forward and it was long range. Anyways, that being said, poison blow plus 20% of damage inflicted, plus 100% chance to inflict strong poison upon landing a strike or blast and can't be canceled. So he has a 100% chance to do strong poison. That's really good. And he also cancels the enemy's buff effects. So also a good green card just in general. He draws a blue card here, restores 30 key, not 50, not enough, so you will need to make sure you have enough key to use that blue card. He gets a damage buff of blast and then also 50% damage inflicted against enemies inflicted with poison or strong poison. That effect kind of comes from Demon King Piccolo Zenkai, similar, I guess. Blast, attack, and defense, also purple. Applies the following effects itself when he enters the battlefield, draws a green card 1 time, restores key automatically by 50. So that's kind of, I guess, where you're getting the rest of your key from. So just make sure you manage that well. Plus 40% to damage inflicted. He also is the only one that really explicitly needs to be on the team, pretty much, or a team centered around him being like, at least having a purple battle member and stuff like that. So applies the following effects itself if there is an episode's Universe Survival Saga or purple battle member of this character in the party when the battle starts. So if you have either of those conditions met, you get a damage buff and 10% damage reduction. I don't know what 10% is supposed to do, but you get 10% damage reduction. Applies the following effects to the enemy when this character lands a strike or blast arts hit. When the enemy is inflicted with poison or strong poison, he inflicts a bunch of debuffs. Minus 50% to key recovery, can't be stacked. Can't be stacked is kind of annoying. I get why, but still, you might as well let him stack it just because it makes him better. Plus 10 to all arts costs, can't be stacked. Inflicts downgrade, minus 100% to health restoration. So his debuffs are going to be good. But the only downside of these debuffs is that they're just more disruption. But the downside is that it's activating on his priority. So pretty much when the priority's over, they'll be able to kind of play around this after a few counts. So I would prefer more, I guess, longer lasting effects or damage received buffs, things like that. That might be a little bit more flexible, but not bad at all. I don't love this, right? So he's just the only one I kind of don't love. The other two I think are pretty good. Again, I don't think these are characters that you 100% explicitly need to summon for. So that's how I feel about it. So here's kind of how this video is going to go from here. I'm deciding to break this up mid-live in the video because I realized it took me freaking 10 minutes just to get through everything so far. I'm going to chop this into pieces. I'm going to make this part of the video, I guess, kind of unlisted. I don't want to upload two completely separate videos kind of at the same time. So be sure to check out the gameplay. The link will be down below in the description. And if you made it here, you probably already know what that link is. So that's what I'm going to kind of do from here. Sorry about the hassle. And I'm going to jump into some gameplay now. So I'll see all of you there.